aren't you a regular Nancy Drew?
I learned that from the Nancy Drew detective.
Okay, go.
You think you can follow the clues and solve the case of the missing condiment, Nancy Drew?
Because I've read every Nancy Drew mystery ever written.
Nancy, please tell me you're joking.
Wow, you suck at this Nancy Drew stuff. You should get a new hobby.
My name is Carson Drew, and this is my assistant, Nancy.
Nancy Drew.
It's curtains for you, Miss Drew.
Nancy Drew strikes again.
A regular Nancy Drew.
Well, hello, regular Drews.
Hi, everyone. We're coming at you from Salem. We're actually together right now recording.
I was about to say live from Salem, but we're not. It's not live. This is a recording.
Yeah.
This is a recording.
But we're in Salem.
We are in Salem right now.
Yes.
Like, right now. Right now we're in a hotel room in Salem, but we've also been out and about in Salem, and it's been so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we're here at the Nancy Drew Haunted Salem Convention, run by Nancy Drew Sleuths, Jen Fisher. Thank you very much for hosting this event and for having us. It's been fantastic. Gotten to meet so many people.
Yes.
I did not expect, but we've met so many listeners. So thank you all so much for being here and coming up and saying hello. It's honestly just made me so happy to it's so easy when you're like doing a podcast to just feel like I'm just talking to you and there's nothing that nobody else is listening to this. But then like when you guys come out, you like came up to us in like the lobby and in the convention room and everything, and they're like, oh my gosh, I listen. I'm like, what do you mean? And like so it's just been truly just like a mind-blowing experience, and it's so nice to know that y'all are out there listening and you're real people. You're really real.
Yes, and you're also nice for coming up and saying hello. So thank you for introducing yourselves, because it was really exciting to get to meet everybody.
Yeah, it was, for sure. Okay, I mean, do you just want to talk about, I guess, what we've done so far?
Yes.
Of our trip so far?
We've said this in a previous episode, but each of these conventions are based off of specific Nancy Drew books or mysteries, TV show, whatever. So this is, as we've said, Midnight in Salem, The Invisible Intruder, Mystery of the Tolling Bell, and the CW Nancy Drew TV show. So we've kind of done activities sort of based on that, but mostly we've just been Salem tourists,
Saleming.
seeing all the like historical sites and everything. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, so I moved to Vermont earlier in this year, and so Corey actually was able to come up to Vermont for just a little bit before we came down here, and we stopped in Woodstock, which is the town of 6 Paul Revere bells, if you can believe it.
Yes.
You can really only go up to one and see one, which we did, and we posted that on Instagram if anybody caught that. Yeah, it's a bell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool looking old bell.
Yeah.
But a bell all the same, says Paul Revere on the side.
I think we technically actually saw 5 of the 6, right? Although most of them were like up in church towers, so you can't like go up and see them up close. But we did get to see one like, a couple inches away from it, which is really cool.
There's also a Paul Revere bell in Salem.
Yeah, which we didn't realize.
We didn't even know
that. Special trip just to go to see all the 6 Paul Revere bells. Which if you haven't listened to the Tolling Bell episode yet, go listen to that, because the Paul Revere bells feature very heavily in that episode, or in that book.
Yes, that's why we went to go see them.
Right.
Because when we were reading that, we're like, that's a thing, Paul Revere bells? Is that real? And yes, it is real. They really exist, and they're out there, but I guess they must be way more common than like...
than what they make it seem like in the book, because they make it seem like in the book that there's like one left in the world or something. Not
right,
like
that they're just like extreme like collectors, which I guess they are, but like not not super rare. But yeah, no, there's one. Let's see. Yeah, it's on Essex Street.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And they're very large, much larger than the book portrays. In the book, Nancy's able to just like reach out and hold it in her hands, but it's like maybe 3 foot tall, would you say? Maybe 2 foot tall? Yeah, they're huge. So
gotta weigh hundreds of pounds.
Oh, I think the one that we got up close to, it said it weighed over 1,000.
Oh,
so yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, definitely. And then on Thursday, We went on a lovely little harbor cruise
Oh, that
tour.
was so nice.
It was very cute. Lots of stories about pirates. It was very fun. Got some fun pictures of us with some stuffed pirates. Got to have a spooky tarot reading, which was very fun.
Saw like 6 lighthouses. That was very cool.
Lots of lighthouses, lots of seagulls. And then today, which is they were recording. Oh wait, no.
Yesterday it was just a free day in Salem, so that's when we went and did all the museums, and we saw the Proctor's Ledge, which is where the hangings took place during the witch trials. But then in the evening, the planned activity for the convention was a ghost tour, so we all got to go on the ghost tour, and it's really fun.
Very fun. Proctor's Ledge, honestly, I was kind of shocked by how eerily similar it looked to the woods that you walk through in Midnight in Salem.
Yeah.
The trees looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, that is like spookily accurate. So props to Interactive for that, I guess, at least.
Of course, the memorial itself isn't in the game, but you can definitely get the same vibes from that area, because it's just, there's like a little concrete memorial that's carved out in the ground, and then behind that is a bunch of trees, really thick forest. So, well, it's not forest. I guess half of it's been like torn down for neighborhoods now, but
it's right behind a Walgreens. So.
Yes, it's basically in their parking lot, which is kind of sad how things change like that. But.
Salem is a weird town. It's just, there's so much, like, obviously it's been around for a long time, so there is just a lot of history, and just the way that the town has like sprung up around it. It's kind of complicated. It kind of creates a lot of different layers to things, and kind of feels like all the stories get kind of jumbled together, and nothing's really clear. Which is really fascinating, but honestly kind of sad. It does feel like kind of like indistinct sometimes. It's just an observation.
We were talking about this yesterday, but we, like I said, we went to a bunch of museums yesterday. We got a bunch of tours from a bunch of different people. I felt like a lot of the information, not a lot of it, some of the information was contradictory to like each other, the tour guides. Some of the things that they were saying did not match up with what I thought was the case, and then it definitely didn't match up with what we saw in the game in Midnight in Salem. So that was kind of like, all right, what is the truth kind of thing. So.
And it's hard too, like when you're going on all these really touristy excursions, it's like, what are they playing up for effect, and like what's actually true, and like, you know, they say things about like, oh, this person went and did this, and they thought this about it. I'm like, how do you know that?
Right.
Where is the source? I want to read it. But yeah.
And it's mostly details that were contradictory, not like people were, telling completely different stories, but just some things that I was like, oh, I thought I learned that from the game. And then I heard like the same story told 3 different ways from 3 different tour guides. It's like, okay, interesting. So.
Yeah. And then today we were able to listen to a bunch of really great speakers this morning.
Yes, let me just get the program out here so that we can get everybody's names.
Yeah, Jen gave a talk, Jen Fisher, about kind of like her Nancy Drew story, her collections, and all of that. And she gave a really interesting talk about a bit of a ghost story for the spooky Salem vibes. But apparently, Mildred Wirt Benson haunts the Toledo Blade office building? What?
I need to hear more about this, because apparently Harriet Stratemeyer Adams also haunts her former home, or a place that she...
On the 2nd floor.
Right. That she lived or something. Yeah.
That was so funny.
So what about the afterlife? Now maybe we're getting into that haunted part of my talk. So this will be interesting. Nancy Drew never believed in ghosts, except for a couple of minor exceptions. But there are some that say there are ghost writers who might be ghosts. So this is Millie's headstone in Toledo. The little brownstone has her daughter put the Nancy Drew silhouette on it. And her daughter and her had an interesting relationship, but that was very sweet of her to kind of add that to her little stone there. But what about Millie now? Most of us assume, she's where she is and had a great life and left us a great legacy. But last October, curiously, I get Google News alerts on Nancy Drew. So this came through in my email about chasing deadlines. Are late journalists still looking for the next big story after death? And I thought, what in the world does this have to do with Nancy Drew? So I started reading the article, and there are some that think that Millie may be haunting the Toledo Blade, especially the Toledo Times building, which is right next to the Blade. It's not used anymore, really. And I thought, is this nuts, or what is going on here? So I reached out to the reporter. The article had mentioned this man, Mr. Jet. He's a security guard. And he, a maintenance man, basically, in a nutshell, a maintenance man working for the Blade and the Times buildings, felt like there was some spirits there. And he thought they were Millie, and he thought Henry the pressman, one of the pressmen that worked there for decades, forever. And so Mr. Jet likes to use a pendulum to try to sort of in that spiritualism thing, see if he can talk to anybody. And so he brought his pendulum to work and thought he was contacting Millie. He couldn't find Henry, the pressman, but he thinks he's been communicating with Millie. And so he told a reporter that wrote this article about his experience, and then she talked to the maintenance man. So she had one of the ghost hunting groups that's local to Toledo come in, and then they wrote this article about their experience, between what each of them sort of experienced. And so, of course, I contacted her about this. As I said, we have a lot of ghosts in Nancy Drew, Intruders, Mysterious Intruders, there's a few of those books. But were they real in Nancy Drew? No. In this particular ghost story, one of the ghosts was real, intriguingly, but I had to check this out, of course. So I became Jen Fisher, Nancy Drew, ghost hunter, for a brief time. Or maybe I still will be, I don't know. But on our way to Cooperstown, Gina, Mary, Kelly, and I drove to Cooperstown. So we started in Columbus, where Mary lives, and we drove up to Toledo and met the reporter and met the ghost hunting guy that came with all his equipment. The security guard couldn't be there, but we met them just to see what was going on. I had never been in the Toledo Times building, so I was very excited to get to see that, where she had worked so many years, and that's the building. And this is us up in the building that night. The middle woman is Nancy Eames, Director for Children's Services at the Toledo Public Library. She was really intrigued by this, so we invited her along. And that was us in there that night. And this was the ghost hunter, was setting up some of his equipment. We rent a room, and the building is it's used for storage, but some of these upper floors are just crumbling, like glue in the crumbling, wall. There's walls crumbling, corners crumbling. It was very interesting to see. And then it got night, a little spookier pretty quickly at night. And so he had us asking questions. He made recordings to see if when he played them back, there would be something in the background. He had a meter that would sort of blink and go off at different times. We did this in several rooms. And then she wrote an article about our visit, that we're following the clues to the author's old haunt. Did we see Millie? Was she floating down the hall? No. He had us kind of address her and talk to her just to see if this EV meter might pick up something. And there were some times the lights blinked and did some different things, but we don't know exactly. And then when he recorded some things and when played back, it sounded like someone said, what was it, thank you, or something like that, but it didn't sound like a man, not a woman, yeah. So maybe Henry the pressman was there, I don't know. So anyhow, we're not sure, but it was very interesting just to see what this was about, feel it out. And I can't really say for sure. I've spoken to the security guard since then, and he pulled out his pendulum while I was talking to him on the phone and said, why don't you give questions and we'll see what she says. So I did some questions, but I also have a skeptical side, so I asked some tricky questions to see how this being or whatever might answer some of these questions. Try to trip them up, kind of like Nancy Drew might do. And so I'm still unsure. There were some strange answers in the yes or no realm. But then the plot thickens. So For those of you that don't know, when we were in New Jersey area in 2015, we were doing Stratemeyer historical stuff. And there's Harriet back in the day, and her farm in California is called Birdhaven Farm. She wrote or outlined a lot of Nancy Drews there, and loved this farm, held parties there. It was just a beautiful place. We went in 2015, and the owners let us come in a giant bus. All of us went in there and got to tour the place and the old house that she had stayed in. This is her in the later years with one of her dogs. There was an article about this place I kind of uncovered when I was trying to find the owners so we could go visit. And in this article, specifically, the woman that is, whose husband also owns it with her, said her ghost haunts the second floor. And so I thought, really? So I've been through this with Millie before with Miss Harriet. They think Harriet's ghost haunts the farmhouse. They had a psychic out who felt her presence. The owners have felt her presence. I think some things have moved, and they get a sense of different things when they're up in the second floor where her writing desk was. I don't know. When we were there, again, we did not see Harriet anywhere. I didn't really sense anything. Maybe I'm just not open to that. I don't know. But it's very intriguing, to wrap this up, it's very intriguing that two of the most prolific ghostwriters for the classic Nancy Drew books are now thought to be ghosts. And maybe they're revisiting their old haunts. I don't know. I can't say for sure. But I thought that was fun and intriguing. You might appreciate learning about all of that today.
And then we heard from Ruth Sanderson, who is, of course, the famous Nancy Drew illustrator.
From the 80s.
Yes.
She did, 57 through 72, okay. I believe. Yeah.
And she's so lovely and so sweet and has such an interesting background about her art and the stories of how she actually started illustrating Nancy Drew. That was really fun to listen to. We got her to sign books, too. We were able to get some signed books from her, and she had all her art displayed, and it's just gorgeous. And it's so funny. I was telling Corey this earlier. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast when I told you.
No, I don't think so.
But I realized when I was looking up which books of hers I had that I could bring for her to sign, I realized that she had wrote and illustrated one of my favorite childhood books called Rose Red and Snow White. And I was like, absolutely, I was in love with that book because it reminded me of me and my sister. And so, but I was so little. And that was like, I mean, I don't even think I had read Nancy Drew at that point. I was so little. I was like maybe like 6 years old. And so Nancy Drew has just kind of been a part of my life for longer than I even realized, which is very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And she was so sweet. She wanted to talk to you about that, and then was nice enough to take a picture with us. And,
told me where I can maybe get a signed copy of that book. Hunt it down and have it, because I don't have my copy from when I was little anymore. So that's really nice.
So how this worked, this was, they were continuing the series at this point, and they wanted these books to come out really quickly. And these were the very first paperbacks of Nancy Drew. They had only been in hardcovers. And this was at the time when bookstores were starting to realize that, there might be a market for children's books, for paperbacks. So these are the very first paperbacks ever done of Nancy Drew. And this was the original's over there. So this was a trial cover that I did. I found a model at a local high school that I thought was pretty good. And the publisher was not completely happy with it. And I was not either. I felt like she didn't quite capture the spirit of Nancy. She wasn't in charge. She was, a little tender for me. So then I found Lisa, who just had a great attitude. I can't remember if it was the same high school or different high school. She will tell you. because I think she probably has a better memory of the event, maybe perhaps, or how I found her exactly. But obviously contacted her parents through the principal and etc. And then she posed, and I thought she was really just perfect for Nancy. Here are a couple of, here's a photo of a group of friends. Anna, is this you?
Yes, on the left.
This is you. So Anna, the model, is the blonde on the left. Do you want to stand up for a minute? We have another Nancy Drew model. So Anna poses best for 2 books?
Yes.
For 2 books, for this one and Flying Saucer. Is Flying Saucer next?
Flying Saucer.
No, okay. I should know the order of these. So here's the photo reference. So I always do this. Whatever book I do, because I'm a realist and I like draw realistically, I like to, if possible, if it's an interior, sometimes I'll set up lights to light the characters. So the folds of clothing are much more interesting when there's a light source as opposed to flat lighting. The same with like portraits. If you take a portrait with a flash photography with flash, it sort of lights the face kind of flatly and it's harder to draw. So I like always having a source of light on my figures. This one was fun. So at home, I prepared this and punched a hole through an old canvas, and Nancy had Lisa pose. This is great. This is what I think maybe one of my favorite Nancy illustrations ever, which the original, did you bring it, Jim? Not this one, okay. Jim owns the original of this one. But again, even when she's running, she's in charge. She's just determined, and she just had the personality to be a great Nancy. And one of the thrills of my early career, and I would have had a lot more fun at this event. This was the 50th anniversary of Nancy Drew in New York at this amazing brownstone, 3-story brownstone mansion. And there was a red roadster cake that was about, I don't know, my memory is makes it 15 feet long, but it wasn't that long. And they had, kind of like this, they had a mystery that you had to solve, clues and whatever. But unfortunately, good things happen and bad things. The bad things was I was pregnant with my first child, and I was not feeling that well, so I didn't stay very long. And I wish I had felt better. I wish I had taken the camera, but I wanted to go to this so badly, and I just, it was early in my pregnancy, and had nausea. So when I first arrived on the elevator was Harriet Adams. We went upstairs on the elevator together, and in my hand I had the brand new hardcover of The Triple Hoax, and I asked her to sign it. So this is one of my prized possessions. Best wishes to Ruth Sanderson, Carolyn Keene, Harriet Adams. I love your illustrations. How awesome is this? And there she is. Yeah. So I did get to meet her. We didn't get the photo op because people didn't carry digital, no digital phones, and my camera weighed 5 pounds, and I didn't bring it with me. But I have the memory and I have the photo. So that was really special.
And And then we heard from Lisa. Oh no, first we heard from Taylor.
Who's Indy, the intern with Her Interactive. That's her real name, I guess, is Taylor. She had a little trivia game for us about like Midnight in Salem and about the Nancy Drew PC games. And that was really fun. And then we got to see the trailer the teaser for Mystery of the Seven Keys, which has been on YouTube for a while now. So no new developments that were announced at the convention or anything like that.
Because we got some questions right in the trivia game, we got some game codes for Clue of the Seven Keys, Mystery of the Seven Keys, whenever it comes out.
Yeah, so we're both going to get a copy of that, which
very
is so
exciting. Yeah.
Which we were going to play it anyway, so that works out pretty well.
Yeah. No news on any release date or anything like that, unfortunately.
No, I doubt she would have been allowed to say anything.
I just want to clarify for everyone that we have no insider knowledge. It's not that kind of talk. But still very cool to get to see her and meet her in person and hear about how long she's been working for Her Interactive and kind of her story of how, she started with Nancy Drew. And so, yeah.
And she was so nice as well when we met her. She had handmade last night some like themed bracelets based off of the games and the show and everything. And she actually gave us some, which was so sweet of her. So thank you, Indy.
Yes, it's so cool. I'm so excited about it. It's so cute. Mine says Hint.
Yes, mine's Curse of Blackmore Manor.
It made me want to like make bracelets so I can trade them.
I know, yeah. Feels appropriate. Definitely feels like the right vibe for this kind of setting.
Hello, my name is Taylor, and I work at Her Interactive, or some people know it as Nancy Drew Games. So for over 27 years, the Nancy Drew game franchise has won over 30 consecutive Parents' Choice Awards, and has sold more games than Harry Potter, Myst, and Tomb Raider. And in these games, you become Nancy Drew's eyes in order to solve the mystery. So I actually started out as an intern back in, I think, 2016 and 2017. That was something that when I was in high school, I started watching the YouTube series from the current interns, and I remember thinking, I want to do that one day. And so I spent a lot of my college time kind of building a portfolio specifically to one day become one of Her Interactive's interns. And so I did that for a few years, and then I came back to Her Interactive in 2020, and now I work for them part-time, mainly doing a lot of puzzles. So if you follow Her Interactive on any of the social media, I do lots of puzzles, weekend puzzles that hint at some of the new games, as well as some of the games that we're working on, because we are constantly in development. I've gotten to do a lot with the brand and story development, which is really exciting. But who here has played one of our games? Raise your hand. Oh, so quite a few. Okay. With over 33 Nancy Drew computer games, our players, as Nancy, they have traveled to places like Egypt to find a tomb of a lost queen, to a prestigious all-girls boarding school to unmask an academic saboteur that goes by the Black Cat, and most frequently to Salem, Massachusetts, where she finds Salem's dark history is coming back to life.
And then we got to hear from Lisa Tharp, who I didn't even realize that she was going to be here today.
Right.
That she was a Nancy Drew model for Ruth Sanderson when she was illustrating some of the earlier ones.
Yes.
Yeah, of the ones that she had illustrated. And so that was so cool.
Yeah.
It's so funny because we obviously saw her right next to her picture in the cover or whatever, and she still looks so much like how I would imagine Nancy to look.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so that was super, super cool. Unfortunately, we couldn't get her to sign any books. She had to go kind of quickly. But
yeah, we didn't actually get to talk to her, which was unfortunate. But yeah, her story was great. We got she had like the actual photographs that they'd taken of her in Nancy's pose, and then had that next to what the final image was, and it, like, I don't know, Ruth just captured her likeness so well, and she just, it's great.
And it's just really interesting, too, to hear how, like, someone who's maybe not, like, you know, a hardcore Nancy Drew fan, like we are, still has, like, the broad strokes of, like, just, like, the effect of Nancy, and to kind of hear how, like, her life was shaped and changed based on, like, ideas of, like, feminism and, you know, being independent and stuff like that was really, really awesome.
Anyway, as I was thinking ahead, looking forward to this convention, I couldn't help but think about how sometimes seemingly small, random moments can lead to very big changes in our lives. And one such moment happened to me 45 years ago. I was 16. And I had just transferred into the local high school. I had been hiding out at the all-girls Catholic high school 3 towns away because at age 12 I had been diagnosed with scoliosis, which maybe some of you are familiar with, curvature of the spine, and I was wearing a back brace for 23 hours a day. So I figured, what better place to hide away in a convent-like school. But I finally got up the courage to make the transfer, so I'm the new kid, wearing the brace, and I'm a total bookworm. This was my high school. Now to that moment. I was taking a math test, and our principal Elise, was out in the hallway. And I could have sworn he kept looking at me. And I'm thinking, I am such a goody two-shoes, am I in trouble for something? But he was also standing there with a young woman who I did not recognize at the time. And when I finished my test, he motioned me out into the hall. Lisa, meet artist Ruth Sanderson. She has just landed the Simon & Schuster contract to illustrate the new Nancy Drew book series. I thought to myself, wow, she does not look any older than me. I don't know how she pulled this off. She quietly shook my hand and then asked, "Can you ride a horse?" No surprise. And as fate would have it, I was able to say, actually, yes, I've been riding for years down at my aunt's farm. So next thing I knew, photo shoots were scheduled at the stables, at my house, outdoors, and Ruth had given me a list of characters to go and recruit classmates that fit these descriptions. Now again, reminder, new girl, back brace. So here is one of the star football players, Mark Rivers as Ned, and then we have above behind him, playing Bert is Danny Sullivan. We have Dave, played by Jay Williams, George, and the dark hair, Leslie Gross, and we've all met my really good friend, Anna Zavala, rings from now, who played Bess. And she was my one real best friend at high school, so I was thrilled that she fit the description. And she is actually here with her 2 grown daughters, which is very special. I had not seen these actual photos for years. Jim actually shared them with me, and then Ruth. But I was amazed when I eventually saw the inside illustrations at how accurate Ruth was in her illustrations. So here Nancy is packing, getting ready for a trip to New York City to help Aunt Eloise's friend, Mrs. Richards, who's been swindled in a vacation scam. But all of that aside, the picture up behind Hannah's head there is a replica of a painting my mother did and was actually hanging on the bedroom wall. That's how thorough Ruth was.
And then tonight, obviously we haven't gone yet, but tonight is the big closing event, which is the mystery dinner, which we're all going to like dress up. And I think we're just going to solve a mystery while we have dinner. So that's, I mean, obviously So the concept is very straightforward, but we'll have to see how it plays out and what the mystery is going to be and all that. So we'll definitely follow up.
Yeah, I love a murder mystery dinner.
Oh, yes.
So I told you this earlier today, Corey. I have never been able to participate in one as a participant.
Oh yeah.
Well, except for maybe when I was really little and we had that. My birthday party was that was probably the last one that I ever did. Because I've always been the one who's been planning it and leading it. So I'm so excited.
That was the picture that I posted on Instagram earlier this year of a little baby us, and it's so blurry. But that was that murder mystery party.
Was it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Was that not the one the movie star one that I had with Legolas and?
Oh, that might have been. Wait, what was your birthday party in 5th grade? Was it the murder mystery or was it?
I think 5th was the murder mystery, and I think 6th grade was the Hollywood.
Yes, and we watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, I remember that. Well, anyway,
Pirates of the Caribbean aside, we've been having a great time.
So we love mystery dinners and
long history of them.
Murder mystery parties. So I don't know if it'll be a murder mystery or if it's going to be based off of a Nancy Drew book, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out, and we'll report back. We'll record after. I'm not sure when, but we'll record at some point afterwards and give you the scoop.
Yes.
All the hot goss. Solve the mystery for you and let you know who did it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the butler? Was it me? Nope. No promises. So
hopefully it's not you.
Hopefully
it might be. We just don't know.
There's nothing more than I love being a murderer. I mean, in
the culprit.
In the culprit. And I'm not a murderer. I have not committed any crimes. In fake role-playing mystery games, right. I love being the villain. So if I have the opportunity, I will relish in it.
Very nice. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've forgotten to mention so far. Yeah. There were some other activities that we did not get to attend just because, for when our travel was and when we were driving in, we just happened to miss those events. I knew that they took a big bus up to Maine, right? And did a whole scavenger hunt around that was themed after Invisible Intruder and the CW show. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you were at the convention, hopefully you had a good time. But
let us know what you guys did. I saw that there was a photo contest of kind of scavenger hunt, going around taking pictures of stuff in Algonquin,
I believe,
which is fun. So if you have those pictures, share those with us, because I want to see what you did. And then there was the meet and greet, of course, that we missed as well.
Yeah, that was early on.
That was
on Wednesday. So
sad. So if you guys were there and we missed you, sorry. If you are coming to the mystery dinner, or I guess never mind. I wanted to say if you're coming to the mystery dinner, come find us, but you're not going to know about this until later because this is not coming out for another few weeks. But
that's fine.
But oh well.
But overall, I mean, this is I don't know if we've said this is our first time ever coming to one of these conventions. It's been great. Definitely recommend to anyone who'd want to attend, and hopefully we'll be able to do this sometime again in the future. I don't know what the next one is going to be, but hopefully we'll be able to make that happen.
Yeah. I've just been really energized getting to meet everyone, and it's been so so much fun, and I think it's definitely made me want to come to more.
Yeah.
I honestly was a little concerned coming, not gonna lie. For Regular Drews, I was trepidatious coming because I don't know, sometimes when you're meeting new people, it can be hard, it can be scary. I'm thinking are they gonna like me? Are they gonna think I'm weird? But I think in general, everybody's been so welcoming, so sweet, so kind. And so, I would definitely encourage y'all, and, hopefully we'll get to, like you said, come to more, and we can meet more of you and do more cool things in different places. I know on Jen's website, there's a list of all
the future
concepts of what future ones could be, and there is a cruise.
Yes, I believe it's going to follow Mildred Wirt Benson's adventure path that she did later in life, around Central America, which sounds amazing.
That would be so much fun,
right?
And so I mean, there would be nothing more fun to me than being on a cruise with a bunch of Nancy Drew fans and going on adventures in Panama or wherever. I
think one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of Nancy Drew fans is that they kind of feel, I don't want to say isolated, but just that they don't really know a lot of other Nancy Drew fans in real life. And so I think that this is a really great reason to all come together, because so many people come just for that sense of community. So it's really wonderful to just be able to connect with other people. Maybe they are perfect strangers, but you already have a lot to talk about when you meet each other because you're both such great fans. So it's really wonderful in that sense. And there's not even, once you meet people, there's not even that worry of, will they like me? It's like, we're already talking about what our favorite games are. And like, we skip over the weird part and everybody's just like already excited to be together. So it's really cool. It's got a great sense of community.
Yeah. So. And it's so cool to hear like what everybody else like does with their like Nancy Drew interest, like just, if it's games or the books or they make crafts or they illustrate, do all kinds of illustrations or they collect or whatever. It's like everybody has like their own Nancy Drew thing that they're, passionate about. And so it's just so much fun.
Y'all have inspired me, like talking to so many people today and about their, their specific interests within Nancy Drew. It's like, I'm doing this, I'm working on that. Oh my gosh, I want to, I want to learn more about that. I want to watch it when you have that posted or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah. It's very energizing.
Yes.
To be amongst all of you. So more of that, please.
Yes. We even met a wonderful woman who said that she is currently working on a documentary about Nancy Drew. I don't know that she has like a specific like timeline or even a title for the project in mind yet, but be on the lookout for that because she has some really incredible plans for it from what it sounds like.
Yeah, and there are a couple authors here as well selling their books, talking about how they were inspired to write their mystery books from Nancy Drew.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is so super cool too. I bought one. I'm going to read it. Yeah, where is the book? Hold on. So the book that I bought is called The Last Note from Zeta Alfaro. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Zeta. Maybe, but and it's a cozy mystery. She told me that she started reading cozy mysteries a couple of years ago, and she's a musician as well. So she wrote like a cozy musician inspired mystery. And she said her drummer was like a police officer, and so she was like using him as like a source for like writing material. And she was just talking about how she loves Nancy Drew and how her sister, I think, kind of like really cheered her on to write this book, which is so super cool. But I'll just read a little snippet of the back here. It says, "Killer songs and a killer voice, but a killer at her gig. Vi has always found herself at the center of attention as the lead singer for one of Miami's top cover bands. But when she finds herself at the center of a murder investigation while performing at the Steel Horse Bar, the tune changes." That's so cute. So it's about it seems like a strong female character is our lead, so that's very reminiscent of Nancy, and it looks really good. So I'm really excited to read that, and maybe I'll write a little Patreon post about it as a review. It'd be good.
It's a cool cover too. It's like just like a silhouette of a singer, but then it's got palm trees and lots of colors, and it's like draws you in a little bit. So
Also, Nancy Lauzon was there with her books, but unfortunately didn't get to talk to her.
Yeah.
Never got a chance. I got waylaid one too many times as I was walking around.
That's okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people there than I had kind of envisioned, I guess.
Yeah.
It was like 150 people, which is a good number. So.
Yeah, I think it's one of the larger ones, one of the larger Nancy Drew conventions that Nancy Drew Sleuths has had. And so that's really exciting that we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Salem was the perfect choice in location, I think.
It really was. Yeah. Really was. It's a fun town.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
Should we mention the specific places that we went to yesterday for our tours and stuff?
Okay. Yeah. We went to the House of the Seven Gables.
Yes.
It's my favorite stop.
Of course, the Hathorne House. It looks identical. No arson, thankfully. Everything was where
nothing
it was supposed
burned down.
Be, right.
Obviously, the museum that is set up there has all the rooms recreated like they would have been. And so it's a lovely little stop. Also, the gardens outside are just gorgeous.
Also, the hidden staircase.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, there's a hidden staircase.
Yes.
It's the coolest feature.
So her interactive. Why was that not in the game? Come on now. I'm kidding. Yeah, it was fun. In the attic, they had like a miniature model of it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, is Frances Tuttle's will in that mini model?"
I know, seriously.
Obviously,
don't let me at it.
Demonstration purposes, but no, it was really cool. Nathaniel Hawthorne's birthplace was like moved onto the same site, so you can go and tour that as well. So you got the whole like I don't know, but
What else did we do? We
We went to the Salem Wax Museum.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
It was a little creepy.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, my God.
But obviously some darker sides of the history there. It was pretty dark.
It was quite a way. We started off, we did like our happy, like, woo, like, let's get some drinks and sit on a boat.
Right.
A couple hours was our first thing that we did in Salem. And then we immediately went to the Wax Museum. And it was like a tone shift.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. It was a little dark, very creepy. I did not like the wax statues. Honestly, I don't know that I have ever seen a wax statue that I've liked. Yeah. They all freak me out. It's the eyes, the soulless, lifeless eyes. Yeah. I don't like it.
And they're clearly like not custom made to be those people. It's like, this is a little girl, but it looks like a 40-year-old woman. And it's like, she's just, they just position her away and makes her look smaller in the background. No, that's really creepy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's creepy. And I mean, like, I know the Salem witch trials were a long time ago.
Of course.
It's like, obviously this is not recent history
or
whatever. But for something so traumatic
and atrocious,
and awful, it's like, let's set up a wax display of this girl being beaten. Oh, excellent. I get it. I don't know. I get it. I mean, I know this is the history of the place, and this is why people come here. They come here to learn this stuff, to experience this stuff. But it's just such a weird vibe.
Yeah. We also went to the Witch History Museum, which is different from the Salem Witch Museum.
Yes.
But it was also kind of creepy. It was like a guided tour of, we would like walk through different sets that they had set up. So like a set of like girls in the woods practicing witchcraft, and then a set of like Tituba reading to, what were their names? Like the Putnam Girls or whatever. Yeah. And then, like the trial itself, like the courtroom and everything. And so those models were a little creepy. Yeah. And then what did we do after that? We did go see the memorial for the victims of the trials, which was really nice. Yeah. And Proctor's Ledge, which is separate. So yeah.
Tried to get into the graveyard, never managed to actually make it there.
Yes, yeah. It's only
open Street Cemetery,
It's only open during daylight hours, and just with the timing of everything, we're just trying to rush around.
Yeah,
finding parking, and you just couldn't get over there in time, so we missed it. But we did get to like walk around outside of it. So. Yeah. What else did we see?
Saw the Bewitched statue.
Yes, that was
cool.
very
fun. Yes. We ate lunch right next to the Bewitched statue, looking right out on it.
Yeah.
Saw somebody taking their wedding pictures at the Bewitched statue.
Very sweet.
It was very cute.
We went to the witch house. Unfortunately, the tours were completely sold out already before we even got to Salem, so we didn't actually get to go inside, but we did get to, of course, take some pictures outside of it. The witch house, of course, is the, what was the judge's name that lived there? Not Judge Sewell. Judge Corwin lived there? Okay, yeah.
Sheriff
Corwin. I thought it was the judge.
Corwin. Judge Corwin.
So it was Judge Corwin that lived there. And then we also saw what was the name of the house? The Hocus Pocus house.
The Ropes Mansion.
Ropes Mansion, yes. And the garden that was behind that, which is beautiful. So.
Yes, yeah. Saw Hardy Street.
Oh, yes, yes. Which is actually like the House of the Seven Gables has two streets that run parallel to it, and Hardy Street is one of those streets.
Yes. So
unfortunately, Drew Street was not the other street.
No.
Not Deirdre Street, unfortunately. No other fun ones.
And no run-ins with any Hardy Boys, unfortunately.
Darn it.
Not a single one.
What a shame.
No Fenton. Where's my Fenton?
We did see a Fenton Street, though, didn't we?
Did we?
We did. We saw Fenton Street when we first got into town. I don't think it's in Salem. I think it's in Peabody, which is the next door town. Yeah. Which is actually where the convention is being held.
Right.
So when we were trying to make our way to the hotel, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Fenton Street.
Where are you, Fenton?
Yes. Or it might not even have been in Peabody. It might have been the town that we got to before we actually got here.
Yeah.
We sat in traffic for a good while before we could actually arrive.
And that Massachusetts traffic, man.
It's no joke. Oh, man. Everybody was trying to kill us here. Every turn we took, somebody was running a red light.
Everybody's just so angry all the time. I'm like, you guys.
No offense to anyone who's from Massachusetts, but...
Well, and I've done a significant amount of driving in the DFW area, which is like, aside from this, probably like some of my worst driving experiences have been in DFW.
Fair enough.
I'd say it's close, but I think Massachusetts outranks DFW for angry drivers and scary drivers.
The only thing I've seen worse is Houston. So
yes, and I refuse to drive in Houston.
Yeah.
I'll drive through it. Not driving around it.
Ooh, I don't even want to drive through Houston. That even sounds like a headache. But
if you stay on the highway, it gets bumper to bumper, but at least you don't have to like the one-way streets, man. The one-way streets.
Just the things that go along with being a super old town from the 1600s. So,
yeah. It's not exactly planned to be this populated ever. So.
What else did we do? I mean, the ghost tour, we saw a lot of the big famous sites just from outside and heard some crazy stories from there about all the hauntings in Salem.
Yeah. Oh, at the wax museum, the witch museum. That's where our tour guide told us the story about the curse.
Yes.
On the Salem sheriffs.
Yes.
Which is wild. Apparently, ever since, who was it? The guy who was crushed to death, right?
Yes, so it was Giles Corey.
Yes.
He was the only one that was crushed in the witch trials, but he did die, and as he was dying, he cursed the sheriff who was, crushing
interrogating him
and, suffocating him with rocks. And so he cursed the sheriff. I don't remember what exactly he said, but the sheriff...
Did he say God will give you blood drink, or is that from Nathaniel Hawthorne's?
That was somebody else. It was from Nathaniel Hawthorne's book, but it wasn't about Giles Corey.
Oh, so he's kind of the one... He testified against his wife.
Oh.
He said he believed Martha had bewitched him one afternoon when he attempted his prayers. He also claimed that animals on their farm had recently begun acting strangely in her presence. Oh, it doesn't say what he said. It just says he cursed the town of Salem. It doesn't say specifically what it's... Oh, well.
So he curses the sheriff, and then I think just a few years later, the sheriff ended up dying of a heart attack or something. I don't remember what exactly he said, but I feel like it was something heart-related or something along those lines. I don't know. I can't remember specifically, but supposedly ever since then, this is what the tour guide at the Witch History Museum said, that everybody since then who's held that
through
office...
the 90s,
through the 90s.
Yeah, not...
have died or resigned due to heart-related issues. But then our ghost tour guide said that one of them had to resign due to corruption that was nothing to do with his health. So, that's just one of the contradictory things that I was talking about. So it's maybe, but then supposedly in the 90s it stopped because the sheriff's department actually moved their headquarters out of the actual city limits of Salem or something like that. It's just somewhere else in the county. So ever since then, all the sheriffs have been healthy, supposedly. So... Very interesting.
It is fascinating.
Yes.
Fascinating. Love a concept of a curse.
Yes.
Interesting.
Very cool.
So we'll come back a little bit later with some more information, maybe about or how the dinner tonight goes. We'll be back to talk about that. So, yeah.
Okay. It's 2 weeks later. Is it 2 weeks?
It's been about 2 weeks now. Yeah,
Okay.
no, it has been, because we got back on Sunday.
We did not get a chance to record after dinner on the last day of the convention because we were exhausted.
Yeah.
Is that the word we want to use?
What open bar?
and-
I mean, just kidding.
Yeah. So here we are, and it just didn't happen until now because Corey got sick, unfortunately, and was unwell for a little while. And so, we had to wait for you to feel better before we could record. But we're back.
Yes.
We're here.
And we're
You're
ready to
feeling
talk
better?
about it. Much better.
Good. Okay, so I have to remember actually, what what we did. But dinner was great. There was a lovely little buffet, and then with some really good desserts. I do recall that.
Yes.
I filled my dessert plate. And then we had a little cute little Nancy Drew kind of table mystery for us to solve. We were not successal.
We did not win, but we got very close. I will say we were on the right track. We had the right idea. Just somebody else got there before us. So
I don't know that we were close. I mean, I think that we understood, but we didn't realize the full parameters of the rules, maybe?
We didn't know that we were allowed to get up and go to other places. We thought we were just using the items that were on our table. There was a part, there was like one item in the room was different and you had to go find it, which we didn't realize.
Yeah,
so.
we did not realize, no.
But everything else, we were on the right track, I will say. So
yeah. Do we want to read the little mystery thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, when we sat down at the table on our place settings was a little piece of paper that kind of described the mystery and the mystery that we needed to solve. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it?
You can go for it.
Okay. It's Mayhem at Midnight in Salem, Escaped Mystery. The old Hathorn house has a lot of secrets around Salem going back to the Salem witch trials. Old man Hathorn, a sea captain and judge, was rumored to have murdered his first wife in order to steal her fortune, French heiress Odette Lamar. There's also some words in bold on here, and that's one of them. He convinced Old Salem that she was a witch. She was convicted of her witchery and put to death. Among the hallowed halls of Hathorn House, her ghost moves about like an invisible intruder. Her ghost and ghosts of Hathorn's past haunt the family graveyard on the estate. Odette's ghost, the vengeful sea spirit, the Igleika, is often seen along the shores of Salem, and her legend has lured many to their deaths. When people call upon her for favors, they have to pay her toll. Those who don't pay their toll get their souls taken and are lost forever to the depths of the sea. The latest owner of the old Hathorn house is Mr. Cranshaw, an eccentric old skull, skeleton, and shell collector. His creepy butler, Jeffers, has invited you inside the home for a special dinner party where you might be what's for dinner. Sorry. It literally says blah ha ha ha. So I had to read it like that.
Thank you.
Beware of Jeffers and the gang of swindlers, including the Prizers and Madame Tarantella, for they're all on the loose and have been searching for the ruby necklace and jewels of Odette's, rumored to be worth a fortune. They're also ready to foil your night. Ghost hunter Olivia Ravencroft has interrupted the dinner. The Igleika is nearby. Olivia's magic summoned the Igleika to help her discover who is haunting Hathorn House, but she failed to pay the Igleika's toll. You're all caught in the Igleika's web of terror, and in order to survive the dinner, you must pay the toll and get rid of the Igleika's hold on Salem once and for all. If you don't, you may be burned alive in Hathorn House and made to experience the dismal fate of Odette Lamar. Follow the clues in the mystery envelope and on your table, a series of puzzles and codes in order to figure out how many and which objects on your table you must put in the mysterious Dybbuk box to trap the Igleika's spirit and save everyone. You'll need to know how many objects and which ones. You'll have to figure out the combination to the lock on the Dybbuk box so you can open it and place the correct objects as offerings inside. Then you must sing the sea shanty to Jen to seal your fate and save yourselves and win a prize. So, very cute.
Yes. Yes, props to Jen because she did an amazing job with planning all this and setting up the mystery and everything. I thought it was really great. It went really well.
Yeah, and very cute how it combines all of the different kind of references that the convention is about. Right. You've got the CW show references in there, Midnight in Salem references, Invisible Intruder. The only thing there wasn't was
the tolling bell.
I guess there wasn't any tolling bell in there, was there? But that kind of makes sense as that's more Maine and that was a day trip that wasn't like in Salem. So I get it. But very spooky and very cute and a fun little concept. On the table, we had all these different objects, right? There was there were some Igleika skeletons.
Yes.
Those were very funny.
Yes.
And those all got put in our gift bags too. So I have one around here somewhere.
Oh yeah, I have mine as Halloween decorations now.
Yeah. There was a coin. Oh yeah, that little witch broom pen, very cute. So lots of little things. And so the goal was inside the envelope we had some puzzles to solve that would tell us which objects we were supposed to give and what the code to the box was. That we would have to go put them in. And then I don't know. The sea shanty part is still what trips me up because there was something in the box that was the sea shanty, but it wasn't clear that it was a sea shanty. and that's what you were supposed to sing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we were struggling with like, what is what here? What sea shanty do we sing? Can we just go up and sing like
any sea shanty?
Anything?
No. Well, it ended up being the list of items was the sea shanty itself. So when you decoded it ended up, it all rhymed. So it's almost, maybe it's better we didn't win because that meant we didn't have to sing to everyone.
Yeah.
So
I think it's such a good idea to make the winners have to go up and do something that's maybe slightly embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because then everybody else doesn't feel quite so bad that they didn't win. And it's like entertaining, you know? So, and then everybody gets to feel good because the winners obviously won and everybody else is like, oh, that's funny and that's nice. So I think that was a really great touch.
I think the prize ended up being some Nancy Drew books, so appropriate.
Yeah, I think it was it all the books that the convention was kind of about? Is that what it was, or was it?
I think she just had random stacks of Nancy Drew books, and the winners got to pick whichever ones they wanted. So
that's cool.
Which is a nice prize. So
it is a nice prize.
Yeah.
Well, we should also talk about the gift bags that we got too.
Gosh.
Did we talk about the gift bags?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
They were so cute, though. They
were so cute.
Big, like, a skeleton in there was one of the things that we got.
They had, like, Halloween-themed stuff. So there's, like, some, like, little witchy finger stuff. And I forget what else is. But, like, Halloween, like, knick-knacky cute little toy things.
Mm-hmm. And then some pins, like buttons for your clothing or whatever that say Nancy Drew on them.
There was
magnets.
a Nancy Drew convention magnet. Yes.
That was
I
cute.
love that one. But then also, we got a copy of Midnight in Salem, which is like, okay. But then we also got a new copy of the most recent Nancy Drew Diaries and Nancy Drew Hardy Boys books.
It's the Hardy Boys Adventures, which is like the companion series to the Diary series. So it's the most recent one in that series as well. The Smuggler's Legacy is the title.
Yes. And the new Nancy Drew Diary got is Captain Stone's Revenge, which is set in Vermont. Can we just, I'm so excited to read that one. And then we also got a copy of What is the Story of Nancy Drew? Which is it's like a children's version of like the history of Nancy Drew, which is very cute.
It's by Dana Meechan-Rao, it looks like. And I love that cover. That's so cool. It's just an image of, for some reason, Nancy's head is like 10 times larger than the rest of her body, but
why that's the case.
The rest of it is just her investigating a little like crime scene here. We've got a bloody handprint. We've got a shoe on the floor, but then we have a little desk that has yellow spines stacked up on the top of the desk there.
The book itself is also illustrated. There are a ton of interior illustrations that are also very cute and very just like, just to feel like really nostalgic and like I don't know. It's been a long time, since I've read a book that's like illustrated like that. I mean, of course, the Nancy Drew original. Not the original text, the mystery stories do have some interior illustrations, but not as, like, this one has, like, an illustration on, like, every page. And the style of it is so cute and so nostalgic. So, I love it.
It's great.
So, really cool stuff. Really great. I shudder to say it because I hate this word, but swag. Yeah. But
pretty
such
good
a good
gift bag.
time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good, great gift bag, fun time, fun dinner, fun all around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would definitely recommend anyone who is even slightly interested in one of these conventions, if you have the chance to go in the future, definitely go, because it was amazing.
It's also just fun to just, like, travel and get out and be able to, like, see a place through a lens of Nancy Drew, because I feel like a lot of times when, I travel, I don't think that much about Nancy Drew, but to go to a place specifically because of its association with Nancy Drew is just such a cool concept. And so, like, even if you're not super interested in, like, the convention aspect and all of that, to go to a place and be able to be like, oh, this was in the game, or, this looks like this spot, this scene in that book, or, I am sitting at a cafe, which Nancy does, and this, it's just very fun. It's just very fun. Yeah. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't normally, or we would normally do a flashlight score at this point, but I don't know that, there's anything.
5 flashlights.
Yeah, it feels weird rating it, but yeah, 5 flashlights. It was a great experience.
We haven't had any other conventions to compare it to, so, but if we did, I don't know, 5 out of 5 flashlights.
Yes. Salem on its own was a great destination, 10 out of 10 vibes, so yes, definitely.
Yes, very fun. Okay, is there anything else we want to talk about related to the convention?
I think that's pretty much all that we've got for this one. Anything else you have?
No, I don't. It's just, I think I said this before, but it was just so great getting to meet everyone and to share and something we're all so passionate about. And so it was just really lovely and getting to remember like, oh, Nancy Drew isn't just about me sitting alone in my house reading books or talking to you. It's like, it's just this much larger community, which is it's just a really great reminder. It makes me feel really energized and excited to do more Nancy Drew stuff.
Yeah. I'm already ready to go back. So
yeah. I think the next one is going to be in Sleepy Hollow.
Ooh,
that's what Jen's been saying.
Exciting.
Yes. So that's very cool. It's also a very big tourist spot in New York. So I've never been there.
Oh, me
so
neither.
That would be fun if we could manage to get up there. That would be very fun.
When is that one?
Next year sometime, presumably. Okay. I think around the same time, actually. I think probably Halloween-ish.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, next one.
Yes. Oh my God. You guys, I'm so excited. Mostly I'm excited because I've already read it and I'm ready to record it. So it is, drum roll, Secrets Can Kill.
Yes, the first Nancy Drew file.
Yes. Not the PC game.
So join us for the next one, y'all.
We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to Regular Nancy Drew. Email us at regularnancydrew@gmail.com.
If you like this episode, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Regular Nancy Drew and Twitter at RegularND.
You can also support us on Patreon. Patrons at the $3 level vote on upcoming episode topics and get exclusive access to our Scoop Sesh series.
And all patrons receive early access to each episode as well as weekly bonus content.
And to all you regular Drews out there, thanks for listening.